Hi, my name is Victoria Anderson. I currently live in Boulder, Colorado. I graduated summa cum laude from Eastern Kentucky University in May of 2017. I have grown up learning about wellness my entire life. My dad was a youth sports enthusiast, so I played softball, basketball, soccer, volleyball, you name it. And on top of that, my mom is a fitness instructor, so she taught me the ins and outs of overall health. She really stressed the importance of nutrition and physical activity because chronic disease is potent in my family. So, having that background and coming into college and taking my first nutrition course, I really felt a fire light within me, knowing that that was a passion that I wanted to pursue for the rest of my life. As a Division 1 volleyball player for Eastern Kentucky University, I saw a lot of different things within the sports culture that can influence our decisions in nutrition and our bodies. For example, my team and I were very exercise dependent. There was a lot of food shaming and body shaming, and I had borderline eating disorder symptoms. And so I have experienced a lot when it comes to seeing food as hurting us and as something that's not necessarily helping us all the time. And through my nutrition courses, I really got the education I needed to bounce back from thinking that way and to take it in a different direction, that food is medicine. Another example, in college, I got hurt as an athlete. And this was during the time where I really cared a lot about my body and I had body image issues. And food really was medicine for me at this time. I saw what it did to my body and how it helped me when I ate the right things. And so through these experiences, I can really relate with individuals on how they're feeling, the good and the bad. I am now a volleyball coach for the youth. I first coached last fall at my old high school as the sophomore head coach, which was an amazing experience and my first time stepping into that role. I now coach club as an assistant for 14-year-olds. So we get to travel around the nation and play at different states and all over Colorado. And it's really, really awesome to give back to the youth what I've learned over the years. I'm also a wellness coordinator at a nonprofit in Boulder. So I work with kids 6 weeks to 12 years of age, giving basic nutrition education and bringing outside sources in to incorporate more physical activity within the classroom. Some interesting things about me. I went on a 6-week mission trip to Thailand right after graduation to teach English to Thai college students. I love to travel. I'm very independent and adaptable when it comes to that, and experiencing different cultures actually brings me to life. It doesn't make me run away in fear. I love the outdoors. I love snowboarding, biking, hiking, camping, anything. Growing up in Boulder, Colorado, I had those options all the time. So if the weather is nice and there's mountains nearby, you know where I'll be. I believe one thing that really distinguishes me from other candidates for your internship is my broad experience in a lot of different realms within wellness throughout my entire life. I have seen the sports side, I have worked with children and the youth. I have just grown up being taught to live a physically active life. I want to add also that my long term goals are not what you'll usually see with interns, not the typical dietitian's path. I love missions and I would love to incorporate mission work with nutrition and fight malnutrition around the world or even in the United States, whatever it may be. But I really want to love and I really long to serve people in those basic needs. Your public health focus is one of the primary reasons why I applied because community nutrition falls under that umbrella term, and I believe you will have a lot of great, diverse, hands on experiences in the community. And I would love to have that under my belt so that I can experience a lot of different people in a lot of different situations within that field. I expect to learn a ton from your internship to really build my body of knowledge in nutrition in all areas so that I can be really confident in my career. Like I said before, I hope to gain a lot of experience. I hope to obtain some great character traits from your program to build on my character and strength and perseverance and resiliency and confidence just in everything that I do. I want to be a dietitian because I want to change lives. I want to educate people. I want to help them and serve them so that they can live happier, healthy lives. I think dietitians are crucial in this world. After I complete the internship, I expect myself to have a job in the field as a consultant, either at a gym, for a sports team, for a school, for an organization, whatever it may be. I want to be working one on one with individuals or within communities. In 5 years, I hope to be with mission teams around the world or within the states fighting malnutrition or fighting whatever chronic disease I may be working against. But I think mission work is really where I see myself in 5 years. I have felt uncomfortable in a work situation. I had a manager who really belittled his coworkers and made you feel like you weren't doing anything right or that he didn't care to really teach you anything, especially when he was under stress or there was a lot going on. He really took all of that out on his coworkers. And I think, depending on the situation, if I was uncomfortable in a rotation, I believe I would step up towards the supervisor and make sure that there's good communication between who's in charge and the situation. I think communication can really solve a lot of things. I think with support with your from your peers and from the directors and people who are in charge of that rotation, I think the uncomfortable situation can be handled really well. I tend to be a peacemaker rather than cause conflict. So I would hope in those situations I wouldn't just push it aside, but I would really make sure that it was handled well. I'm a very visual learner, so when it comes to studying for a major exam, I would compile all of the important notes that I need and begin to make note cards or rewrite my notes or draw pictures or do whatever I needed to do to see that visual because I have a photographic memory. I really think studying stuff over and over again is crucial and not just making sure you know it for that moment, but you know it for a very long time. I think there should be a good combination of studying independently and studying with peers because usually your peers have a lot to point out that you may have missed, and you can also relay information back and forth, which will actually help me on the test because I can remember conversations and remember the points that they're making. A situation comes to mind when I think of something happening to me that was unfair, that I thought was unfair. And I believe this situation was when I was being medically disqualified in college from my sport. I had my knee surgery my sophomore year, or my end of my freshman year. My whole sophomore year, I was redshirted because of recovery. And I finally was back my junior year. And volleyball season is in the fall, but our off season is in the spring. And so during the off season, we do a lot of hard training, workouts, lifts, whatever it may be. And so my doctor recommended for me not to do a lot of impact or hard work on my knee because there's a lot of wear and tear that can happen. But during the off season, that's what my coaches decided to do was cause a lot of impact and wear and tear on my knee. And so it was getting to the point where I had to decide if this was worth it. So I communicated with my coach, and she had told me that I was going to be medically disqualified. I asked her if I was actually going to play in the fall, if this training is going to be worth it because it was really hurting me. And she told me, without me knowing, that she was going to medically disqualify me. And I thought this was unfair because if I had not gone to her, she probably would have let me play through the spring as a practice player, hurting my knee and then disqualifying me for season. And so I felt as though she hid it from me to use me in practice. I handled it well. I believe it was a long road coming for me to be disqualified in my sport and for my knee to finally give out on me. But I believe that it could have been handled differently on their side, that they could have had better communication. I didn't throw a fit, I accepted it, and I still stayed with the team the next year as a student coach. I had a lot of people who supported me through the situation, which helped, but I feel like I handled it like an adult and I accepted the situation and I accepted the new role that I had to play. This is a hard question for me because I see myself as accomplished and well rounded when it comes to my schedule. I like to keep myself busy and I have a lot of commitments, and so my attention can kind of be divided, yet I still do well in all the things that I do. But when it comes to schoolwork, I tend to focus on one or two things that I need to get done in my prioritized list, and I put all of my focus into them to get them done and accomplished. I am working on getting better at saying no so that I can focus more of my attention on one or two specific things in my life. A challenge I faced when trying to work cooperatively with someone was in college. I was paired with one of my really good friends for a project, and we have very different ideas when it comes to schoolwork and getting things done. She likes to kind of procrastinate things to the last minute, and I like to get it done so it's out of my mind and I can move on to the next thing. And so we had to really sacrifice our time and our commitments to get the work done when both of us could be there and when we could cooperatively work on it. I know in situations like that, I like to just take control of the project to make sure that it does get done. And so there's more of a workload on my part. And that is usually the results that I get when I don't work cooperatively with someone. I like to kind of take control of the whole project or the assignment that is given. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to review this video and my application. I'm very excited to see what the future holds with your program.